y'all, it's me again. I'm going to continue reading from my book, The 1900s. Let's go. Henry Ford's Motor Company. Henry Ford tinkered on. Finally, he put together a car that would run like the very one and drove it himself in a number of the early races. In 1903, with 12 partners who put up a total of $28,000, the Ford Motor Company was organized in Detroit. Parts for the cars were to be made under contract by several different companies. Space for an assembly plant was rented for $75 a month. 10 men were hired at $1.50 a day. Ford thought that the outfit, of which he was manager and tinker general, could make 10 cars daily. There was plenty of competition. Buick had just been incorporated. Apperson, Franklin, Pierce Arrow, and Stearns had been in business for 2 years or more. Cadillac, Overland, and Packard had been making cars for more than a year. The older firms, all dating from 1890s, included Heinz, Locomobile, Oldsmobile, and Studebaker. There was also a host of others, possibly as many as 500, which came and went, most of them leaving stock certificates to go into attic trunks, along with yellowing certificates of shares in canals that were never dug and railroads that were never built. The new Ford Motor Company progressed steadily through the usual lean periods and hard times customary with most business enterprises. In 5 years, it increased output about fivefold. During the time, Ford had tried 8 different models, which varied from 2 to 6 cylinders. Both chain drive and shaft drive were used. One model had the engine behind the driver's seat. The output had grown to 100 cars a day. Ford himself was still the boss mechanic, seldom far from the bench and the drafting board. 5 of Henry Ford's original partners were afflicted with short-sightedness. They wanted to get out. Ford was glad to buy the stock, which gave him majority control of the company. Now he could go ahead with an idea that had been brewing in his mind, namely to make 1,000 cars a day, a car that would sell for no more than the price of a horse and buggy. A great innovation, the Model T. Ford's remaining associates were solidly against 1,000 cars a day. They were inexpressibly shocked and even contemplated court action to stop the madness. But Ford went ahead to design, then to announce Model T, the one and only model that was to occupy him for the next 2 decades. There may be Americans who have never seen a Model T, but they cannot be many in their lives have been singularly circumscribed. It was a stark, almost a grim affair, this black mechanical monster that was to change life in America in so many ways, this new god of Henry Ford's countrymen. Its appearance interested Ford no more than the nuances of grammar. He meant that this vehicle should run, that its owner could repair it with haywire or, if seriously injured, with new parts supplied cheaply by Ford dealers all over the country. He meant that its first cost and its upkeep should be within the means of those who, just a little later, were to be familiarly known as the lower third or the little people. In 1909, Ford's idea was revolutionary. In that era, motor cars were generally considered to be the ostentatious toys of the wealthy. Dr. Woodrow Wilson, president of Princeton University, saw the deepest social aspects in the automobile and said publicly that the motor car presented a picture of the arrogance of wealth with all its independence and carelessness. He felt that more than anything else, it had spread socialistic feelings among Americans. Henry Ford's Model T stopped any such socialistic feelings in their tracks. Within a few years, the lowest proletarians were seeing America, or at least getting around in Ford cars, and one gallus sharecroppers had suddenly, besides procreation to amuse them, yet the motor era which Ford did so much to usher in, also brought new cat stays. Why can't I say this fucking word? Cat system that was found on neither birds nor wheels nor brains, but simply the make of a car, a metal. Vestiges of it are still to be seen. General Motors is no great competition. Ford got Model T into production not a moment too soon. A promoter named William Durant was putting together what he hoped would be an automobile trust similar to U.S. Steel and Standard Oil. He called it General Motors. Into it went Buick, Cadillac, Oldsmobile, and lesser concerns. Durant also wanted the Maxwell Company and Ford, but failed to get them. Durant tried to get capital from J.P. Morgan and Company, boasting to the bankers that 500,000 cars could be made and sold every year. The House of Morgan dismissed Durant as visionary and otherwise unstable. Promoter Durant at last got from the banking houses of Lee Higginson and J.W. Seligman, I think that's how you say the last name, a 5-year loan of $15 million. These bankers considered motor making so risky that General Motors had to pay them $2.5 million in cash and some $4 million in securities. The loan not only came high, but the bankers also insisted on a first mortgage and forced Durant to surrender leadership of the company to the bankers' representative. The high-priced loan was used for plant expansion and to buy materials. Henry Ford's Model T was meanwhile becoming the sensational gadget of the United States. Selling for a little under $1,000 in 1909, its price dropped spasmodically over the years to as low as $295. Wow. Lots of Fords go by was more than a slogan. Almost every other car in the dusty highways was a Model T. It was the only automobile that went into folklore. Cartoonists, gangsters, vaudeville comedians, and the anonymous fraternity that invents off-color stories went to work on the Ford car with enthusiasm. It was a Tin Lizzie, and more things happened to Tin Lizzie than ever happened to the farmer's daughter of legend. The Ford Motor Company had a conventional advertising operation, though it was not needed. No American gadget ever received so much free advertising as Model T. In 1914, approximately 250,000 Model T cars were made and sold. They accounted for 45% of all automobiles made in the United States that year. Please rate, comment, and subscribe down below. And if you're on TikTok, please like and follow my videos. And please pay for something on eBay and or Mercari, okay? Please, I need the money, okay? And please, and ring that bell notification on YouTube so that you can know when I post, because I don't always know when I post. Okay, bye.